Today I want to talk about the X-S20 and the rig that I have set up for using this in the studio. There are 7 things that I've purchased that make this the perfect rig for my studio, and I'm just going to quickly go over those with you. The first thing is the small rig camera cage. This was a relatively inexpensive cage that I got for the X-S20 when I purchased it. And I like the fact that it has a little tool here to loosen and tighten this, to remove it. I like the fact that it has lots of attachment points for all types of things on here. It works out really well. The second thing is the lens. This is the 18 to 55 millimeter lens, and I have found that this is the best lens in my studio with the least focus breathing out of all the lenses that I own, and even the 18 millimeter 1.4 lens that I was testing. I didn't keep that lens because of the focus breathing here in the studio. Definitely a great lens for photography, but for what I was looking to use it for, honestly, the 18 to 55 millimeter works perfectly. It has very minimal focus breathing. Super happy with that, and an affordable option as well. I picked this up used. The next thing I want to mention is the microphones. I'm using the original DJI wireless mic, and it comes with 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. Originally, I was trying to get it to stay either in here or in here, but as you can see, it just doesn't hold. What I ended up getting was this cold shoe adapter that slides in and it locks. So it locks in place. It's still a little bit loose, but it locks and it won't fall out. And then you just press this little button down here to slide it out and release it. The next thing that I got was this little clamp, and they come in a set of 4 from Small Rig. They attach to the quarter thread, and then you can just pop open the top and put your cables in there. And what I normally have in here is the mic cable, and then I also run my USB charging cable that I put right in over here, and I run it through here, and then it attaches to my C-stand that I've got. So that keeps all of the wires nice and secure without any problem. One of my favorite things that I got was this HDMI micro to full adapter, and it screws in with these 2 screws right here. You plug this in, and then you've got your port on the bottom to plug in your full HDMI. So if I wanted to use this with my Viltrox monitor, I could plug that in. If I wanted to use a capture card and plug this into my iPad to be able to monitor or to record the video on the back of the camera. I did a video about that if you're interested, and I'll link it in the description. This thing is a lifesaver because, as you well know, the micro HDMI port is really fiddly. It gets loose. You're always worried about breaking something, breaking the port. This keeps this completely stable. And you're not fiddling with this at all anymore. You're fiddling with this, and this is screwed in super tight so that it is secured to the cage. Really great idea, I have to say. I like that an awful lot. And then finally, the last thing is this tiny little cooling fan that I bought from Ulanzi, which is way better than purchasing the $199 fan from Fuji. And what this does is, if you are, say, recording in 4K 60 for an extended period of time and you're worrying about your camera overheating, you can just pop this little fan on like this, and there you go. Press the button, and it's set for 0, which is it's off. And then you press it again and it'll go to 1, and you can feel the air coming out of it now. Press it again and you can get it on a 2 speed, which is a little bit faster. I don't notice that much of a difference in the two fan speeds, but I think the second one is a little bit louder. The one really handy thing is it shows you right on here what your camera temperature is. So you can keep an eye on that and see that it is keeping it at a consistent level. So it's dropped it a few degrees since I just turned this on. A really nice feature is you can plug this into USB-C and charge it while you're using it. So if I've got it on my tripod and I'm using this, I can just plug in a USB charging cable to it and just run it continuously. It runs on the battery for about an hour. I've tested that. I let it run on my desk for an hour, and I think it lasted just a little bit over an hour. And it definitely kept the temperature of the camera from overheating. I'm pretty sure I had it on for at least 30, 40 minutes running and didn't have any overheating problems at all. One thing you might notice is this tape, and it wasn't my idea. I saw a video here on YouTube. Somebody had devised a way to keep this from popping off. The original Ulanzi fan that they made had suction cups, and I think that did have a design issue, and those were popping off and falling off the camera really easily. So they came out with this version, which has a spring like this, and without the tape, if you put it in and you secure it, for the most part it stays secure, but you can kind of pop it off pretty easily. So what this gentleman did on YouTube was he took gaffer's tape, just plain old gaffer's tape, which is really great to have because it rips so straight, it rips in straight lines, so it's super easy. You don't need a scissor or anything to cut it. He put it on reversed, so the sticky side is on the outside. And that little bit of stickiness and that little extra bit of width really secures it nicely to the back of the camera. And it doesn't come off. There you go. I can hold it and it's not coming off. I'm real happy with this little fan. It's not an essential, truthfully, but if you are recording 4K 60 in the studio for extended period of time and you want to protect your camera, keep it from overheating, I think this is a great option if you're on a budget and would like to have a fan, but don't want to spend the $200 on a Fuji fan. And finally, I always keep one of these little guys around. So this is a little small rig tool set, and it definitely beats, you know, dealing with all of this. I'm constantly, everything you buy comes with these tools, and you end up with a giant bag of them, and you never know which one you're pulling out. So this is super handy. It's got pretty much everything. It's got a Phillips, a flathead, some hex, and even places here to store things if you needed to. The only thing that I think they could do to make this better would be that if they had some locking positions. So maybe when it was straight, it could just kind of have a little lip that it would lock into, and maybe at the quarters as well. I think that would be great because you could use this to screw and tighten. I think that would be nice. The fact that they're just moving all around, sometimes it's not that easy if you want to get it like this and actually use it, because this starts moving on you. It's super handy to have with you. It's very affordable, so it's a good little option. And then I guess I can say goodbye to this cable because I don't need it anymore. This was the HDMI cable that I was using that plugs into the X-S20. And I even put a little piece of tape on here so that I would know that this was the side to face me when I was plugging it into the camera, so I wasn't jamming it in the wrong way to the port. I was always afraid I was going to damage the port. But I don't need this cable anymore because I have this lovely, lovely little adapter, and now I can just use a regular HDMI cable, and that works way better. If you're interested in seeing the full review of the X-S20, just head over to this video and I will see you over there.